Franz Wagner is out with another major injury, but the beat goes on for the Orlando Magic today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is December 9th, 2024. My name is Philip Rossman. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com. Of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, Franz Wagner out indefinitely with, yes, a torn oblique. We'll take some time in a segment to mourn and discuss the injury, everything that goes in it, the timeline for his return. And then we move forward to a big Magic win over the Phoenix Suns. We'll get to all that coming up here in just a moment. But first, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day, no matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right when we upload. We truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. Remember, there's a great Locked On podcast covering every single team in the NBA. Just search for Locked On and the team you're looking for, the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Saturday afternoon felt like a fever dream. It felt like it wasn't real. Like, honestly, when I saw the tweet from Shams, I first verified that it was Shams. And then I actually texted the Magic or emailed the Magic asking them to confirm. Because I frankly didn't believe it. How could this happen again? How could this happen a second time? A rare basketball injury happening twice to the two most important players on the Magic. Franz Wagner is indeed out indefinitely with a torn right labrum. Or torn, no, it would be good, actually. With a torn right oblique. The same injury as Paolo Banchero. A frustrating bit of news for a player who had emerged as an all-star. Who had carried this Magic team to a 13-7 record since Paolo Banchero's injury. Kept all their hopes and dreams alive. This felt like it could not be true. There is no way this is happening. But alas, it is. It's done. It's happened. Franz Wagner is on the bench to be reevaluated in 4 weeks. So yes, beginning of January, we will be on Franz watch, and hopefully we'll see him by the end of January. We'll probably see him before the All-Star break. Just like we'll probably see Paolo Banchero here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Hopefully, if everything's going well. It is gut-wrenching, and that is the only word I could come up with, knowing full well that that is probably not the right turn of phrase. And even for the Magic, it was gutting. They had their moment to mourn. They had their moment to sit there and absorb this information. We've had 36 hours plus 48 hours maybe at this point to sit here. I can't count, so not 48 hours. To sit here and really think about what this means and how painful it is. The Magic season reset when Paolo Banchero got hurt. To lose that key of a player meant everybody's role changed. The whole complexion of the team changed. And it took the Magic a little while to find their footing, especially because they were on the road, but they found their footing and moved on and moved forward. They found that groove again. Now it resets again. Now we have to take this, like essentially every stat you take from the date from October 31st when Paolo was announced out with the injury. Now we have to go from November 9th to the end of till Paolo's back, essentially. It is a brand new season, and this is a brand new team. The Magic have to reset themselves again. They have to be a different team. They're going to lean on different players and have to find a different way to score. And that is frustrating, obviously, because the margin for error shrinks now. The Magic trying to maintain and hold on to the 3 seed is going to be difficult. The Magic trying to keep themselves ahead of the Milwaukee Bucks, who we will talk plenty more about tomorrow, trying to keep themselves ahead of the Milwaukee Bucks becomes that much more difficult. The Magic are entering a very difficult part of their schedule. And it's going to take everybody playing well, playing together, playing as they are for the Magic to get where they want to go. But let's make no mistake. The time for crying is over. The time to lament, the time to be frustrated, that's all gone. That's done. We had that day on Saturday. The Magic had that day on Saturday. By Sunday, they gathered together. They said their well wishes to Franz. They said, we know you'll come back stronger. And then they have to get back to the work of playing out this season. The games do not stop, and the games do not care about how injured or hurt you are. You've got to find your way. And that's the task ahead for the Orlando Magic. Who's going to step up? Certainly feels like Jalen Suggs has to step up in a major way. Become the star that we all hope he could be. And that's no guarantee. Suggs, for as good as he is, has struggled in this role. With Franz Wagner off the floor since Paolo Banchero's injury, the Magic have a team worst 99.1 offensive rating. They have struggled to score. The Magic's most used lineup without Paolo or Franz this year is Jalen Suggs, Anthony Black, Gary Harris, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Wagner. They have a minus 2.3 net rating with an 81.3 offensive rating. Jalen Suggs, and we've gone over these numbers a million times, his shooting numbers are down. The volume of his three-point shooting is down. His spot-up three-point shooting is down. His open three-point shooting is down. No one has suffered more from Paolo Banchero's injury than Jalen Suggs. That's the truth of things. And now comes the question of how does this team reconstitute itself? How does this team find itself? How does this team figure itself out? We can get into and think about and discuss why this injury happened. And I've seen a lot of people ask me, how does this happen? Why are you not talking to the medical staff about why this happened? Well, first off, these injuries are random. You can't do anything about these injuries. I would be concerned with the medical staff if players come back and re-injure, because that means they're not properly rehabbing them to get back onto the court. Y'all can be upset about how slow it's taken Jonathan Isaac to get back, but that's because the medical staff doesn't want him getting re-injured, because that would reflect poorly on them. The act of getting injured, you can do all the injury preventive measures you want. At the end of the day, you can't prevent injuries. Franz Wagner got hit at the wrong place at the wrong time and tore his oblique, the same way Paolo Banchero did. It is usually torn through twisting, but who knows? Who knows when it even really tore? We know when Franz felt it. Who knows? But now the Magic have to move forward. He's gone. He's done. For the next month, we don't have him. Now the Magic have to move forward. They have to find their way. And that's going to take everybody. And that remains the ultimate message. For as much as everyone is mourning and as much as everyone is saddened by Franz being out, by Franz not being there, for the Magic having to fill this 26-point hole in their lineup, the Magic do have a way to get better. The Magic do have a way to push forward. And frankly, it's a simple answer. They have to do everything that they were doing already. They might have to do it better. They might have to do it in a different way. But the standard remains the standard. And Sunday's win over the Phoenix Suns proved the Magic can still play to their standard. We'll talk about how the Magic survive without Franz Wagner coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Mint Mobile. With big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets. With Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about gotchas ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. That's mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $50 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. So how are the Magic going to survive? How are the Magic going to move forward with Franz Wagner out of the lineup? It seems like, and it feels like, a gargantuan task, considering how vital Franz has been to this team. And like every game, we talk about, oh, Franz had another 30 spot, or another 28, 8, and 7. And it was just like, we're kind of taking this for granted because he's just been so consistent about it. And yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to replace. But Jamal Mosley said before the game, no one player is going to replace all that. And at the end of the day, yeah, Franz is a very good defender. But that doesn't change our identity. That doesn't change who we are. And that doesn't change what we're about as the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic know that if they're going to survive this, it is about the standard. It is about the standard that they've set for themselves, the culture that they've set for themselves, and upholding that as much as they can with Wagner out. Because at the end of the day, culture isn't what you do when it's easy. We talk about how this team is so tied together. We talk about the great culture in this organization and this franchise. That's easy to say when your stars are healthy and everybody is playing at their peak. The teams that we admire, like the Miami Heat in their heydays, the teams that succeed are the ones that have their culture no matter who's in or out of the lineup. And so as the Magic move forward without Franz Wagner, we have to start and think, what is this Magic team really about? Who is this Magic team? And yeah, they're going to have to do a little bit extra. They're going to have to do some extra things to make sure that they make up some of these margins. They cannot make the same mistakes because they do not have a Paolo Banchero or Franz Wagner to bail them out. They're going to be leaning on players who, the reason why they're not the star are because they are a little inconsistent. And it may not always be there every night. This isn't going to be easy, and nobody is pretending that it is. But if the Magic continue to play Magic-style basketball, they will give themselves a chance to win. And that is, of course, defending at a high level. That is, of course, playing with intensity, intention, and effort. That is sharing and moving the ball as much as they can. That is playing with a determination and resilience. And the Magic maybe needed proof of all this because you need faith. Faith, it's one thing to believe, it's one thing to have faith. Having proof gives you confidence. And that's what they got in Sunday's game against the Phoenix Suns. Look, the Magic could have easily crumbled in this game. They fell down by 11 in the first quarter. They had 6 turnovers in the first quarter. They could have easily stopped right there. And it looked like they were about to get run out of the gym. Like it was going to be like, okay, they just don't have it today. They just look off. They're playing lineups they've never played together before. Magic players even acknowledge, I don't think we've ever played this lineup before. They had to figure it out. It's like if you go back and listen to my podcast after the Magic lost to the Cavs on November 1st, I pretty much said there, like, I don't care what the result is. Like, the result's fine, whatever. They lost. It's about finding the pockets that say, okay, they're going to be fine in the long run. That experience helped the Magic prepare for this experience. Because A, they're home, which makes everything a little bit easier. But they were not backing down. They were not going to make the same mistakes. And they did not quit. Where in some of those early games without Paolo, not that they quit, but they let mistakes compound and compound and compound and tried to get it all back. The Magic go down 11 in the first quarter. They claw their way back. They don't let those mistakes harm them, too bad. Start of the third quarter, Orlando went from down 5 to down 12. Quick 7-0 run. And the Magic slowly clawed their way back. And eventually Phoenix just let Orlando hang around enough that they gave them the confidence to win this game. The Magic's defense wasn't fantastic. Phoenix made shots, 47% shooting, 46.4% from 3, 13 for 28. Orlando was very intentional about running them off the line. As much as they could. It's a Phoenix Suns team that takes a lot of threes, and so that's going to be an issue. They ran them off the line, and they bottled them up, and they were able to get just enough stops to give them hope, to give them a little something to spark their offense. And so Orlando checked off all the boxes that they need that define them. Yeah, the defense could have been a lot better, but in the fourth quarter, it was really good. 23 points allowed in the fourth quarter. The Magic forced 21 turnovers for 23 points. They got 15 fast break points. They found pockets where they got going. And then eventually they made enough shots to take the lead. And the worst thing you can do to a team that is undermanned is give them this confidence. Let them feel like they're in the game. Phoenix didn't put them away. And we could talk about how Phoenix was on a schedule loss after a back-to-back in Miami last night, where they played that game at 8 and then had to play a 6:30 tip-off in Orlando. Miami, by the way, won a 6 o'clock tip-off against Cleveland. No travel, but maybe not the excuse we think it is. The Magic more importantly, the Magic looked like themselves. When things were humming, when things were clicking, the Magic looked like themselves. It did not look like they were being interrupted or, frankly, that they were missing those key players. Other players stepped in. Whether it was Jalen Suggs and his heroics with 14 of his 24 points or 26 points in the fourth quarter, including several big threes and several big plays to put the game away. Whether it was Goga Bitadze with 9 offensive rebounds and a career-high 16 rebounds in total to help spark an offensive attack that had 20 second chance points. The Magic found extra possessions. They outworked Phoenix to all those 50-50 balls, to all those turnovers, to all those steals, to all those offensive rebounds, and they converted. That's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take to win and survive. And guess what? That's what it takes every single night for this Magic team. The Magic have to win the turnover battle. They have to win the offensive rebound battle. They have to win the paint. They have to keep the three-point shooting within range. Magic made 12 threes. Phoenix made 13 early in the game. I think at halftime, I think when the Magic were down by 12, it was a 5 3-point difference. 15 points right there. The Magic have to get to the foul line. They have to put pressure on the rim. And while doing that may be just a little bit harder, that's the standard. That's Magic basketball. And Magic basketball supersedes whoever's in the game. You want to talk about like heat culture? That's what heat culture essentially is. As that the Miami Heat play the same brand of basketball no matter who's in or out of the lineup. That's what they did in their heyday. This is Magic culture. Magic play the same way. They get after you defensively. They force you into turnovers. They hurry you into mistakes. They chase you off the three-point line. They turn that into offense. They attack downhill. They get to the basket. They force defenses to collapse. They shoot confidently from three. Maybe they make it, maybe they don't. But that's the idea of Magic basketball. And that doesn't change if Franz Wagner's out. That doesn't change if Paolo Banchero's out. As Jalen Suggs said, first half, he scored only 4 points. And he admitted he was trying to do a little too much. He understood that his role, he's taking on a bigger role on this team. He has a lot more responsibility within this team and within this franchise right now. And he admitted he was trying to do too much. And when he slowed down, played like himself, that's when things took off for him. That's when things took off for the entire team. The margin for error is smaller. Like, no doubt about it. That's just how it's going to be. The Magic turn the ball over, it's going to be a lot harder for them to make those points back up. You know, there's 5-6 things that the Magic have to do to win. They got to do 4 or 5 of them. And in this game, again, they won a lot. They checked off a lot of those boxes. But the Magic don't need anyone to be Jalen Suggs. They don't need Jalen Suggs to be Franz Wagner. They need Jalen Suggs to be Jalen Suggs. They need Cole Anthony to be Cole Anthony. They need Goga Bitadze to be Goga Bitadze. They are talented enough to still compete and still win. Very, very clearly. Because they have set a standard for themselves. A culture for themselves that will get that job done. And that's been the saving grace, frankly, for the Magic so far. That will continue to be the saving grace for this team. We'll go through the box score, talk a little bit more specifically about Sunday's win over the Suns. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. We are finally here. NBA Cup quarterfinal day coming up Tuesday as the Magic take on the Milwaukee Bucks. That line, since Franz Wagner's injury, has moved from 5 points to 9.5 points. The Bucks favored by 9.5 over the Orlando Magic in their NBA Cup game because the Bucks are playing very, very well, and the Magic obviously down a very key player. In fact, Orlando's odds to win the NBA Cup have slipped to dead last, plus 2,400, 24-1 odds for the Magic to win the NBA Cup. Franz Wagner is now even off, or Jalen Suggs now is the favorite among Magic players to win MVP in the NBA Cup tournament MVP at plus 2,800. Franz Wagner off the board, no longer eligible to win the MVP. So if you want to bet on the Magic to pull off the biggest upset in NBA Cup history, maybe not, you can do that on FanDuel. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Let's dive into the box score as the Orlando Magic defeat the Phoenix Suns 115-110. Again, this was not Denver last year kind of gutsy. The Magic played really well. This wasn't them digging deep. This was a team, frankly, that believed they were going to win. Did not feel like they were undermanned. They did not play undermanned at any point in the game. Like maybe early in the game, it was like, okay, they don't look like they know how to play with each other yet. It's going to maybe take a little bit of time to refine some of these ideas and things, but the Magic played well. And Phoenix shot the ball well. Phoenix didn't even play that poorly. They struggled with turnovers, but they made shots. They moved the ball. They took advantage of the things that you could take advantage of with this Magic team. The Magic don't have a lot of size. I am very, very worried about the Magic defending Giannis Antetokounmpo on Tuesday. The Magic have lost a lot of their size advantage, especially with Jonathan Isaac now out as well. If Jonathan Isaac is able to go on Tuesday, I would very seriously consider starting him and matching Giannis's minutes because I don't know if Wendell Carter is going to be able to do much with him. And again, you're just going to have to wall him and pray a little bit. But tonight, Sunday night, Orlando played really well. They played Magic basketball. It did not look materially different from anything else the Magic do. Maybe there's a little bit more emphasis to get on the offensive glass. Goga Bitadze had a career night on the offensive glass, just in general. Career high 16 rebounds, had 9 of the Magic's 14 offensive rebounds, had 21 points. Just a dominant showing from Goga Bitadze. Just did everything the Magic needed around the rim. And again, he's not creating a lot of points. He had a couple post-ups, but he's not getting a lot of baskets where he has to create. It's all putbacks. It's all dump-offs. It's all pick and rolls. He is just such a big presence. And yeah, if you're commenting that, I agree with you. You can't not play Goga Bitadze at this point. He's just been so impactful. The star of the game, though, is Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs, like I said, struggled in the first half, only 4 points. It just felt like he was trying to do a little too much. And in the second half, he found his groove. 26 points, scored 22 of those, again, in the second half, 14 of them in the fourth quarter. 8 for 18 from the floor, 4 for 10 from 3, 6 for 7 from the foul line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He did have 4 turnovers, but if I'm not mistaken, most of them were in the first half. I'm double checking here. Excuse me. 3 of the 4 turnovers in the first half. So Suggs really played an outstanding second half. And every time the Magic needed a big shot down the stretch, Suggs was the guy that hit it. He hit the 3 that gave the Magic the lead for good in the fourth quarter. He had another big 3 that extended the lead out to 5. He had a big and 1 that pushed the lead back out to 4, I believe, 4 or 5 points. He just made every big play and every big shot. And where sometimes he feels like he's a little out of control, he looked really in control this time. Phoenix just didn't have the defenders to really speed him up and to get him out of his shoes. The only one that could do that was Jalen Suggs. And so much like how we hoped that like Franz would discover his star level when he took over for Paolo when Paolo went out, I think the hope is that we see more games like the second half of this game from Jalen Suggs, where Suggs just looks a lot more in control, a lot more composed, isn't trying to do too much, and understands he has the talent, the skill, the decision-making to make the right decisions and be really productive without doing a ton. I think that is a big lesson that Suggs needs to get out of this period of time, out of this period with the Magic playing without Franz Wagner. But he made all the big shots down the stretch. Just a really, really strong game from Jalen Suggs. A lot to really like about him and plenty more for the Magic to build on there. As did Goga Bitadze. The starters did not do very much. Every starter except Wendell Carter, ironically, had a negative plus minus. Wendell was okay, 6 points, 5 rebounds. Again, I don't think he fits very well at the 4. I know a lot of people like to say he is a 4. I think offensively he might fit better as a 4, but he very much gets lost in the shuffle. He just kind of fades into the background, which is not great at this point. He'll defend well, he'll rebound well, but he's not producing a lot of counting stats. And I think that's what people want to see from him. I want to see him get more involved in the offense. I think he can be really valuable, but if the shooting's out there, he passed up on an open 3, he's got to shoot. And that's a problem. You know, if you're going to be out at the 3-point line, when the ball swings to you and you're open, you got to shoot it. I don't care how bad the Magic are shooting threes. If the ball swings to you, you're open, it's a good shot, shoot it confidently. If you're not going to shoot it confidently, then you can't post up there and you probably can't play there. Again, makes or misses don't mean a whole lot to me. It's confidence, it's spacing. And if you're not a threat to shoot, that's worse than being a bad shooter. I'd rather you be a bad shooter than a non-threat to shoot. That's why Marco Fultz isn't on the team anymore. So just something to consider there. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 8 points, 3 for 6 shooting, 2 for 5 from 3. He had a couple big threes as well. Had 3 steals. The Magic's ability to defend the Suns' guard actions was really impressive to watch. Like, go back, watch some of the tape on this. The way Jalen Suggs and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope communicated switches throughout the night, especially in the fourth quarter, Magic just really dialed in the fourth quarter. They won the fourth quarter 31-23. They were dialed in that fourth quarter. And Orlando's the best fourth quarter team in the league. Their defense is insane in the fourth quarter. There's like a 96, 97 defensive rating, at least entering this game. They wear you down with their physicality. Like, you might get some hits on them, but by that fourth quarter, if the game is close, the Magic are going to win. Orlando's now, I believe, 7-2 in clutch situations this year. Their only losses are the Chicago game. Actually, it might be 7-3 now because of the Philadelphia loss, but the three losses are the game where Franz Wagner was playing with the torn oblique, the game where Paolo Banchero was playing with the torn oblique, and the loss to the Indiana Pacers, which the Pacers won, and that was a close game that the Magic didn't quite get at. But regardless, like, even in those three games, Magic's defense wears on you in the fourth quarter. The Magic won if I'm not mistaken, the Magic won the fourth quarter in all three of those games. Their defense, if they're close in the fourth quarter, their defense is going to wear you down and give the Magic a chance to win in the fourth quarter. That's the truth of the matter, I think. They may not have won that fourth quarter against Chicago. I think it was 16-12 Chicago, but still, defense giving up 16 points, you're going to be fine. The real story of this game was the bench. Obviously, with Franz Wagner out, with new players coming into the starting lineup, the Magic are looking to expand their rotation a little bit and see what different guys can give them. And so, like, Goga Batadze said it after the game, and he is 100% right. The Magic do not win this game without Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony, 14 points, 6 for 14 shooting, 2 for 6 from 3. Added a couple assists, had 3 turnovers. Like, he was excellent. Had 2 blocks. That's Cole Anthony's stat line for you. If he does not score, I think he had 10 points in the first half. If he does not find his shot in the first half, the Magic lose this game. Plain and simple. He was very good at finding his spots. And look, the Magic, like, he looked like Cole Anthony again. It's been a while. He looked like Cole Anthony again. And the Magic are going to need Cole Anthony to be Cole Anthony. He's going to play. He's going to be in the rotation. Whatever the Magic lose defensively, they're going to take it because they need his offense. They need his creation. They need his just bravado about scoring. And they need him to be confident. And Anthony's scoring splurge in the second quarter, that got the Magic back in the game. Without that, the Magic had blown out. So big effort off the bench for Cole. Caleb Houston had 8 points on 3 for 4 shooting, made 2 threes. Jet Howard had 6 points on 2 for 4 shooting, did not make a 3. So all of it coming off 2-pointers, including a nice layup off a cut. Mo Wagner got you 10 points. Anthony Black got you 8. Just a really, the Suns are not a deep team. So the Magic playing well off the bench, not surprising. Dominated that. And that's, again, a big reason why they're able to win this game. Orlando shoots 47.7% from the floor. So they shot the ball really well. 12 for 36 from 3. They did miss their share of threes, but they went through some hot stretches that enabled them to get back in the game. And again, they only lost. Like I tell you, I don't care about the percentage. Take threes, take them confidently. If it's a good shot, it's a good shot. What's important is the Magic don't get outshot on threes. Phoenix made 13, Orlando made 12. You can survive that. You can play with that. It's when it's like 20-15. Magic can't win that. Magic can't win with that kind of a deficit. They can't make up those 15 points, especially now. So that's a big factor in this game. Really, the only thing to complain about is Orlando was 19 for 30 from the foul line, so they left a lot of points on the board. That's something they're going to correct. As long as they can get to the line 30 times still, like, that's going to be the challenge, is for them to continue to get to the line at that rate. But again, the Magic won all the little points. They did turn the ball over 13 times for 22 points. Again, another area to clean up is just turnovers and points off turnovers. But the Magic checked off a lot of boxes that they need to check off in order to win at this high level. And, Orlando made the plays down the stretch. They got the stops they needed late in the fourth quarter. They made the threes that they needed to make. They made the shots they needed to make, and they held Phoenix off 115-110. The Magic are back in action Tuesday in NBA Cup quarterfinal action against the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll see you up in Milwaukee, and we'll preview that game on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Magic. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD, as well as on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all of the places on podcasts to your podcast-enabled listening device. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us there on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, your Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As if that's not enough, your favorite podcast, that's us, now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Magic Daily Newsletter. It's the one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox Monday through Friday. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic newsletter. That's going to do it for me, though. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. For Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, it's been Philip Rossman-Reich. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.